my heart, everybody. This is your host, Rock and Roll Reverend Sue, and I'm here tonight with my friend Patricia Walker, and she is an amazing woman, and I'm proud to call her my friend. Now, Patricia Walker, she is the 2013 Colorado Independent Publishers Association EVVY Merit Award winner for her wonderful book, Dance of the Electric Hummingbird, An Ordinary Woman's Accidental Journey to Enlightenment, the Supernatural, and rock star Sammy Hagar. And this book is about how Pat went from abuse to abundance, and you really feel like you are walking side by side with her as she's going through a lot of the things that she went through to get to this point in her life. She's had an amazing spiritual journey, which of course led to the Red Rocker himself, Sammy Hagar, who sang that song Open in the very beginning of the show. I just gave a little snippet, and this song Open was dedicated to Patricia Walker, and I'm going to play it in its entirety. I'm debuting it tonight in its entirety, so I can't wait. This song really motivates you to really open up your mind, like Sammy says, to your infinite possibilities, which we're going to talk about with Patricia Walker. Now, I want to read just a little snippet, though, of her book on page 317. I felt it was really important because, when I read it, I think that this is the best paragraph of the whole book to me. And she says, when we get very close to realizing our dream, we often back away because deep down, we don't believe we deserve it. Then all sorts of demons come out of the woodwork to make it easy for us to give up. And also, not only that, but if our dream were to come true, the world as we know it would change. And although our current situation may be unrewarding, it's comfortable and familiar. For a lot of us, change is frightening because it's the unknown. So rather than risk what's familiar, even to realize our dreams, we often sabotage ourselves. And that's one thing I definitely learned through my experience with Patricia Walker. She's a trailblazer for the program Infinite Possibilities, which was created by Mike Dooley of The Secret documentary fame. And it's a fantastic program. It really, you're able to realize what's, really deep inside you, what's blocking you. And for me, that was fear. We're going to talk about the sessions with me a little bit and what the program is all about. And also, there's a workshop coming up. Patricia helped Bruce Moen's Exploring the Afterlife workshop, which is April 22nd to the 24th. It's going to be held at the Courtyard Hotel in Colorado. And we're going to talk a bit about that, too. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my beautiful friend, Patricia Walker. I'm going to call her Pat because I know her as Pat. So welcome, Pat.
Thank you, Susan. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming back, and also thank you so much for tutoring me in your Infinite Possibilities program.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I love to teach this program because seeing the transformation that happens with people makes it all worthwhile, and people have breakthroughs like you did, and it's just wow to see what an effect it can have on people's lives. That's so rewarding. So thank you for allowing me to share it with you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And it's been a very interesting journey. And another thing I took from Infinite Possibilities and you was when you're not feeling so well, you just reach for the next highest emotion that you can get. It's the Infinite Possibilities program. It's not about sugarcoating or suppressing your feelings. It's about digging deep and bringing them out and acknowledging that, okay, I may not feel so great now, but I can reach for the next highest emotion.
Right. And
yeah.
that was the slide I think that you're referring to was actually by the Abraham Hicks people who talked about that in their books, the Teachings of Abraham through, and that's a really great way to look at things because sometimes we're just feeling so terrible and we don't feel like there's any way to get out of this funk that we're in. But if you just look at what the next higher up emotion is for you on that scale, then if you can, instead of saying, well, I'm just going to turn my whole life around and I'm going to go from completely depressed to joyful and happy and everything's wonderful, that's pretty much of a stretch for me anyway. So the scale talks about just going up one step instead of jumping all the way from one to the other. So depressed, maybe just to anxious or some other emotion on the scale that's not such a huge leap. And then if we take those little baby steps, it's amazing how much we can really accomplish. And, it's baby steps in a lot of things. For me in my life as well, I know that baby steps were instrumental in helping me after the loss of both of my parents. Telling myself that I can just accomplish one or two things today instead of thinking, oh, I need to do the laundry, I need to go to work, I need to pay the bills, I need to blah, blah, blah. If I would just tell myself I'm going to just accomplish one thing today, and that's going to be taking a shower, something even as small as that, then I would find that throughout the day I would have accomplished 5 or 6 things instead of just one. But if I just sat around thinking about how overwhelmed I was, then nothing got done. So that's a really good example of baby steps as well. So baby steps are really, really important. And when you start seeing that you have accomplished these things, like you just mentioned, wow, it's empowering.
Yeah, it sure is. And once we went through things that were blocking me, the main thing was fear. And I always thought I was a toughie, but I always had a way of stuffing my emotions and not dealing with them, sweeping them under the carpet. But I didn't realize how much fear I had in me. And I used to actually project fear. I would feel a little pinch in my solar plexus area, and anytime I got stressed over a bill or something else in my life, and, I would just project that fear out through my solar plexus. And I found out that, once we revealed that the fear was holding me back, I was able to work on that, and things definitely turned around for me. I actually, like I was, Pat and I were talking a little bit before the show, and, I was telling Pat about how, I was stressing over the fact that I wasn't working and that I physically couldn't do as much as everybody else. And, then I wound up being in litigation over something, and I was able to turn that fear around and be able to stop the fear and project out, more positive things, and everything turned in my favor. So I was very thankful for that. And this program, and of course Patricia, taking the time out to help me realize, that I had all this fear stored, really changed my life in a profound way. So I got to thank you for that.
Oh, you don't have to thank. Well, fear, that's a very big thing for a lot of us. And by suppressing our emotions, that doesn't make them go away. That often causes a lot of other issues, like it comes out in physical forms with sometimes diseases or health, other health issues or other ways to finally get our attention that we need to do something about it. So any emotion, whether it's fear or in lack of confidence, or it could be anything, if we're suppressing our emotions and then we're not allowing them to come out, we're really cheating ourselves, because it's going to take its toll on us sooner or later, one way or the other. So realizing that we have an emotion and then the ability to change that and our thoughts is huge, and that's basically what the whole Infinite Possibilities program is about finding those limiting beliefs that we have that may be holding us back from living the life we've always wanted to live. And fear is a big one. And I've found a lot of people telling me when they're taking this program, it's fascinating to me how many people think they're not good enough. And I'm just floored by that, because some of the people that I have taught this program to, they have come across as the most confident person you'd ever want to meet. And then when we start getting into the program, that seems to be the root of a lot of people's issues. And I don't know where in the world we get this idea that we're not good enough, that so many people think we're not good enough. And I think that was probably one reason why I wanted to teach this, is because I know how that feels, and they say that we're called to teach that which we most need to learn, and that was certainly true for me, and I still struggle with that, not feeling good enough, so I still have to work on that, but yeah, so it's amazing that so many people feel that way, and I don't know where that comes from, society, or I don't know, our beliefs from ancestors, or I don't know, but it seems to be a big issue.
Oh yeah, and a lot more people, like you said, really are dealing with this. A lot of us don't show it, but we're really feeling that way. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah, and this is such a wonderful program because it really empowers people, and when we're through with the program, I see such a huge change in the people I've taught that, wow, it just makes you feel so good.
Yeah, it sure does. It's just an amazing program, and you're able to Skype with Patricia, or I call you Pat. You're able to Skype with Pat, and it's really nice. You can just do this from the comfort of your own home, and there's really cool videos that Pat puts in there and slides that are really positive and that help you along. There's also a booklet that's really handy too, and you do exercises, and there's a really nice meditation that Pat did, and I just absolutely loved it. And I felt so much better, and I felt like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders after doing the program with you. So, I really enjoyed that. You're welcome.
What I'd like to do, hoping for this year, is to put together kind of refresher course for people who have already taken the program, so that we can just kind of cover some of the topics, because sometimes we need a little reminding of things. I know I do, because every time I teach this, I learn more about myself as well. So I'm trying to put together a program for 2016, refresher to help people brush up on things. So there'll be more about that coming soon, I hope.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I just got back from Texas. I did another Train the Trainer conference, and my husband always asked me, what do you need to go to another one of those conferences for? You've already been trained. And part of the reason is because the other people that are involved in this program are so wonderful, starting with Mike Dooley himself, the founder of this. He's just the most incredible person you ever would want to meet, just so positive and so kind and generous and giving, and you just meet people from all over the world, and everybody has a great and new and innovative way of interacting with you and giving you more opportunities and more ideas of how to be a better instructor for the program. And maybe this sounds corny, but the love, the giving and the love is just so refreshing. And so I tell them, well, I need to go recharge my batteries around all these amazing people, and learn new ways to present the program and exciting ways. And I have to give a shout out to David Castee. He taught one breakout session for returning trainers that just blew my mind. He was really truly one of the most impressive presenters at the San Antonio program, and he talked about the difference between how our brains, we have like a fast thinking mode and we have a slow thinking mode when we are in a situation. And our fast thinking isn't always correct, but it's our brain sorts through just literally hundreds of thousands of bits of information just instantly and focuses on, through past experience and other input, what it perceives as the correct perception of the experience. And so then the slow part of our brain, the slower part, actually is the part of our brain where we ponder things and think about things and try to sort things out and that sort of things. We analyze things, and that's more intentional. It's kind of related with our ego and our self-image and that. So the whole idea behind his talk was to change the fast-thinking mode of people, because he's talking about relating this program to audiences that maybe are not spiritual, like people who are maybe really abused, or sometimes even people who are very highly dogmatic and want to challenge the concepts that are being taught here, because the Infinite Possibilities program it's spiritual, but it's not affiliated with any religion or any sort of thing like that.
Right.
But it's so it was really fascinating about how your brain works, and he had all these great diagrams and stuff and little exercises that I'm going to use when I teach mine. So stay tuned for that. But it was wonderful. Yeah. And then another one I really want to mention is Rebecca Sagoda. She taught a great session on money, and this is a really big thing for a lot of us, is your self-worth and how can you attract money into your life. You have to change the way you think about it, because when you start analyzing things like that, for me anyway, it's like, oh, well, I don't deserve that, or I shouldn't be asking to get paid for this, or we come up with a lot of excuses, and that's not just related to teaching this program. It's to anything. Maybe we're at a place in our lives where we're feeling that we don't have enough money, we are having trouble paying our bills or whatever, and so we really have to change our attitudes about money and decide what is your personal value.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
How do you value yourself, and so it was really, really an eye-opening session for me on that, and how to bring money into your life. You have to change your perception of your self-worth. I'm worth this. Money is just coming to me freely. People are just falling all over themselves to give me money. These kinds of thoughts, we start, reprogramming our brains, rather than saying, oh, I don't have enough money, I can't pay the bill or whatever, or I can't do this or I can't do that because I don't have enough money. But then we start reprogramming our brains to believe that we already have this. Then we start acting in accordance to that and behaving in that manner, that we already have enough money or whatever it is we want. And that's the whole Infinite Possibilities program, is believing in yourself and believing in your dreams and living right now what your dream is. Even if it's, the fake it till you make it thing.
Yeah, it's true. And speaking of, Mike Dooley, his brother Andy, I'm going to do a little shout out to Andy. he does a lot of cool artwork and little sayings, but he came up with something that was brilliant, because a lot of times, I used to, kind of sugarcoat things and all that, but Andy said, this is what you need to do. He said, just say this phrase, I am beginning to allow myself to become financially free, or whatever you want to put in there, because it'll put in your subconscious mind, okay, well, I know things aren't perfect right now, but I'm beginning to allow this new change to happen.
Exactly.
There's somebody on the line here, and I want to bring them on. The last four digits, 2615. I'm going to bring you onto the show now. Hello, and welcome to the show. Who are we speaking with?
Hello, it's Jeremy. How are you?
Hey, Jeremy. Excellent, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm wonderful. I got done with doing what I was doing early, so I figured I'd just call in and say hello.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, Patricia, how are you? How's things in Denver?
I'm great. How are you?
I am ecstatically amazing.
Wonderful. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just interviewing two very good friends of mine. Then I was telling them your story in your book about Sammy and stuff like that, and they were like, "Oh, that's so cool." So yeah, they might actually be listening in now. So I just
good. I hope so. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was an incredible experience, and of course changed my life. And regarding my book, since you brought it up, I do want to mention to people that the warehouse that stores copies of my book apparently has decided that since it's no longer one of their top-selling titles, they need the books out of the warehouse to make room for more of the faster-selling titles. So we have like 3,500 copies in the warehouse that desperately need homes, or they're going to be shredded.
Oh, wow.
I know. So been trying to brainstorm what to do. I have offering on my website, bajarockpat.net, discount. If you buy one book, it's half price off of the retail price of $17.95, and if you buy 10 or more, it's $7 a book. So half price is $9, and 10 or more books is $7 a book, plus shipping, of course. But if you could spread the word, that would be great. I would hate to see all my all my years of blood, sweat, and tears being shredded. My publisher assures me that the books are not going out of print. They'll still be available, but for now, he's going to keep a few hundred copies, and I'm going to take a few hundred copies. But the rest that don't sell, they're going to shred them. So I was trying to brainstorm, what can we do about this? I would really like to try to see if I can donate the books to women's shelters or organizations to help abused women, because, as Susan mentioned earlier, that I was abused as well, so I know what that's like. The only problem, there are only two problems with that. One is I don't have a place to store that many books, and I would have to rent like a storage unit. And the other problem is I would have to pay for shipping, and I don't know if you know, but sometimes shipping books is more expensive than the book itself. So
yeah,
that is definitely true. When you think about Amazon.
yeah. I mean, they will still be available on Amazon as well and in ebook format. But if anybody has any ideas or whatever, please let me know, because I think they're wanting them out of there pretty soon. And
what about calling these women's crisis centers and see it, because they have funding for that kind of stuff, and then if you're giving it at such a discount, maybe they can buy a grouping of them for their women that are there, and that might help them. So, I mean, there's crisis centers all over the country.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
I know there's one in Tampa called The Spring. If you called them, I know that, you know, they'd at least hear what you had to say. So.
It's called what?
The Spring.
Could you spell that?
It's it's just like in the season, you know.
Spring. Okay.
Yeah,
I
the
get.
Spring.
Okay.
Yeah. The
All
Spring
right.
of Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Someone also suggested doing a GoFundMe campaign to raise money for the shipping, but then I still have the problem of where to put all the books
Storing
in the meantime. So,
yeah.
but yeah, it's
such a great book. It you know, they shouldn't even think about shredding it, because it could help so many people that are in abusive situations get out of it. And you know, the one thing I took from it, well, a lot of things I took from the book was, just anybody out there that's currently in a bad situation, you just, you know, Pat suggests that that you do one thing a little bit different every day, and you'll start to see changes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if it's just looking at something a little bit differently than you did yesterday. It's amazing how you can change, just if you change your perspective, how all of a sudden things start falling into place where they hadn't before. So
it's funny you should say that, because we were just talking about that on the show I just recorded, and the ladies I was talking to, they, you know, I'd asked them for, you know, tips on what, you know, practical tips on how to get through these hard times. They said the exact same thing you're talking about right now. To, you know, step aside, you know, be the observer, you know, look at it from a different perspective, that kind of stuff. And, you know, that's a common theme. So, it's, you know, when we're in hard times. So.
Well, and it's not always easy to do that, but I think like Sue and I were just talking about earlier about just the Abraham Hicks, the scale, the emotion scale. I think if you guys can look it up online, just Google it and find that is a really, really helpful tool. And just like she was saying, where I'm beginning to look at things differently. If you give yourself permission to tell yourself, I'm beginning to change things, it's not maybe quite so overwhelming if you put it that way. It's kind of like taking a baby step again, but yeah, just moving up a little bit on the emotion scale and choosing an emotion that's a little bit higher up than from where you're at, that can just be huge. One, you know, instead of saying I'm going to completely change my emotion right now from I'm feeling horrible to I'm feeling, you know, happy and joyous, sometimes that just isn't as practical as taking little baby steps. So I think that's another tool that people need to consider.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a little plug to Jeremy too. Jeremy's book is Peace Be Still, and it's a great book. And you know, and in it, Jeremy gives a lot of pearls of wisdom, and he talks about his spiritual journey as well. And you know, it's an excellent read. I highly recommend it.
I second that. I highly recommend it as well.
Well, speaking of books, we need to get you on my show. We were going to, and then it didn't work out. About your book, Reverend Sue.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we need to set that up. So I'm actually doing a new form of show, Pat, so we need to get you on too, maybe the both of you at the same time. I do a video conference, and I record the show, and so everybody's on webcam so they can see us. You know.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like a live television. It's like a recorded television show.
Is it still called Soul Talk?
I call it Purpose Talk or Positive Talk, depending on the show that I'm doing. So.
That's great.
And then it gets uploaded to YouTube. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, so I'll email you guys and we'll set it up. So, Pat, I just sent you an email on your Facebook with the spring of the website. So,
oh, great. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if anybody out there has any other suggestions, please feel free to shoot me an email at info@bajarockpat.net, and that's info@, and that's BAJAROCKPAT.net. I'm open to suggestions. It really, really is my deepest desire to help people, and I have a special soft spot in my heart for helping abused women because I've been there, and I would really rather see these books go to people who can be helped by them and inspired and realize that they don't have to live like that. Nobody has to live like that. Nobody deserves it, and nobody needs to. So by telling my story, I turned my life around, and I hope to serve as an example, because I really believe that things happen to us for a reason, and I believe that what happened to me so that I could someday tell my story and help to empower other people, because to me that's what life's all about, is helping other people. So, you know.
Absolutely. Hey, I know you helped me, so I thank you for that.
Well, oh, you're wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So I wanted to dedicate. Well, actually, if you can tell us what the song "Open" means to you. I know Sammy dedicated it to you, and I wanted to play it in its entirety. So if you could just tell me your story, that'd be great.
Well, "Open," Sammy wrote about me and my sort of, I guess you could say, spiritual connection to him. My book is about how he was kind of a conduit in my life, and through his concert that I attended, things started to open up in my world in just ways I never could have imagined. And so I started trying to explore and to understand what could this be? What could have happened to me? Is it my imagination? Am I losing my mind? What's going on here? Am I making all this up? Well, so as I did my explorations and my checking around here and there and my investigation into things like this, and what an out-of-body experience, what's a mystical experience, and how could this happen, and has this happened to other people, and found out the answers to these, I would contact Sammy and tell him, well, now I heard this or I heard that, and he would respond back to me and tell me, you should read this book or that book. He suggested Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the books. And another one was Aliens Among Us. And as we interacted, it just seemed like there was a connection there that was not anything of this physical waking consciousness world. And I started to think that maybe that we were connected with past lives or something. And I went to see Sonia Choquette, who's a very famous psychic at a local venue here in Colorado. And she gave a talk, and at the end of her lecture, she took a few questions from members of the audience, and I was lucky enough to be the last person she called on. And she told me that Sammy and I had shared many past lives together, and that I had always been in the background boosting his ego, so now it was his turn to do the same for me. And the things that she told me just really shocked me, but they made a lot of sense, even though maybe it wasn't logical sense, but it really seemed to explain a lot of the connections I was feeling to him. And so I wrote a letter to him, and I told him what she said, and he proceeded to write the song Open about this, which to have a big rock star write a song about you is
wow,
like probably one of the biggest honors you can ever imagine. And at first I just couldn't even believe that's what it was. And when I first heard the song, there was like a download or something on iTunes, and you can't even get it anymore, but you can go on YouTube and put in Sammy Hagar and Open, and you can hear the song that way. And Sue's going to play it shortly. But all of the line by line, I was listening to it when I first heard it, and I just really, really, it was so personal. I could not believe it. He talks about a stranger coming into your life, and that's exactly what happened. Is he and I were literally strangers to each other, and this stranger bringing an unexpected message. And I would kind of like to think maybe it went both ways. I mean, he certainly did that for me, but I don't know if I could say that I brought a message to him as well. But I think, we are all connected, and it was just, it was the biggest honor. Sometimes I still cannot even believe some of this stuff that happened to me.
Yeah, it's surreal. But it was meant to be. It was definitely meant to be. And I'm just so happy for you. And, it's amazing. Yeah, you're welcome. And I just wanted to thank Jeremy for calling, too. I had a little trouble with the broadcast, so, I had to mute him, unfortunately. So I just wanted to say thanks again to Jeremy for calling in, and I'll have to send him a message because I'm starting to lose him there. But for the time being, I'm going to play Open by Sammy Hagar, the song Sammy, the Red Rocker himself, had written for Pat. So without further ado, and just listen to the words. It's very inspiring. And we'll be back in a few minutes. Now that's an awesome song.
It is.
Yeah. Wow.
He's talking about listening so closely to every sound you hear inside your mind, and that was referring to me analyzing everything and trying to figure it out and what's going on. And then he talks about your guides whispering some old things, some new dream, so quietly to hear. And that, to me, refers to past lives. And then opening up your mind and opening up your heart, you open up your dreams. And that's kind of just like what Jeremy was just saying, that we were just talking about, is changing your perspective on things and completely changing, turning negative things into positive things and looking at them in a whole different way.
Yeah, just opening up your mind, and that's very important to do. I was always a happy-go-lucky person, but I had that negativity, I hate to say, where you have to question everything and say, I know this happened to me, but did this really happen to me? Yeah, it's just amazing when you realize it. I mean, I've had an out-of-body experience too, just like you have. Unless if you experience it, you can understand what people are talking about. If you don't experience it, it's a little bit harder to. But
right.
But I wanted to talk about your experience. You were at that rock concert that Sammy had in Cabo, and you were there with your husband Dee, and the song "Dreams" came on. You were singing "Dreams," and then you just kind of like left your body at that point. I think it's such a cool story. I just wanted to hear it again.
Well, "Dreams" is actually a Van Halen song. When Sammy was with Van Halen, they wrote that. And I had never heard the song before. When I had this experience, it happened in 2003. And I was not a fan of Sammy Hagar. I didn't even know who he was. A lot of people find that hard to believe, but it's absolute truth. My husband and I just took a little vacation down to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, for a little R&R and getting away from the kids. And we had 3 teenage sons at the time, so we really needed a break. And we were just thought, we'll go down there, we'll lay on the beach, we'll drink some margaritas, have some good Mexican food, and just enjoy ourselves. And then my husband told me that Sammy Hagar owns a bar down there called Cabo Wabo, and he performs in this bar every now and then, so we should maybe see if we could get our trip planned around that time so we could go down and when Sammy's going to be performing, because he would say on his website when he's going to be down there. And so he arranged the trip around that, and we were lucky enough to get into his show one night, and he just blew us away. I had never heard anything like that in my whole entire life, and my husband, I don't think, had either. We just kind of stood in the doorway with our mouths hanging open because the show was already going on when we, it was already maybe a half hour into the show when we got in the first time.
Oh, wow.
And we were I couldn't believe the caliber, this professional caliber of music in this little, sleepy little Mexican town, and it just seems so out of context, but we just loved it so much that we went back a couple days later because he was performing again, and this time we got to see the whole show. And then that was when I had the experience that I talk about in my book, where I felt a really strong connection to Sammy, and my husband was on the other side of the room. He wasn't even with me when it happened, but because he always has to find the perfect place to take pictures, and I was in this crowd of people, and everybody was sweating and rocking out because it was probably 190 degrees in the room. It felt like it anyway. And there was no air conditioning. There was some fans, but all they did was blow the hot air around. But I didn't know if the heat was getting to me or if it was my imagination or if maybe I shouldn't have had that second margarita.
Yeah.
But I'd had probably 2 margaritas over a period of like 4 hours, so I don't think it was that. But I do think it helped relax me a little bit and kind of helped for the experience to happen. But I don't want to give away every detail, but I did actually leave my body. And at the time I was pretty scared because I thought maybe someone had slipped something into my drink when I wasn't looking because it was so profound. And that's kind of a cliche word, but that's so true. It was absolutely like nothing I'd ever experienced in my life before. And I felt an incredible sense of love and acceptance. And when I left my body, and like I said, I didn't even know that's what was happening to me at the time. I thought I was imagining it or something, but later I came to realize that was indeed what happened. And I went to another level of consciousness, and there I saw my soul and I saw God, and we were one and the same. And I saw other dimensions. I saw other landscapes and beings and things that I can't even find the words to explain. But I saw how everything was connected and that the only thing that matters was love. And when I came out of this experience, and I think it only probably lasted just seconds, I felt like love was just pouring out of me. I was overflowing with it, and I felt like I was walking 10 feet above the ground and so full of joy, and it completely changed my life from that moment on. And so that was ultimately what led me to the Monroe Institute in Virginia, and because they specialize in the exploration of human consciousness. And it was really wonderful to find out that this was not my imagination, and I was not losing my mind. I had just been put in touch with another level of consciousness that's part of me and that we all have, and this connection to something that's greater than us that we are all connected with as well. And so the Monroe Institute was another aspect of my journey that helped me understand and explain the things that happened to me. But of course, sometimes you go delving into those things and you start digging up more questions as you go along.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. So it was completely turned my life upside down and inside out in a good way. There was never anything negative that happened to me. Never. It was one thing just led to another, and I was on this path that I could not even really see what the next step was, but I was taking another step. And we talk about this in Infinite Possibilities as well. I felt like I was on a trapeze, and I had to let go of my trapeze and trust that there was another acrobat there on the other bar coming towards me to catch me, so that I didn't just go hurtling off into thin air, but that trust and that taking that step was, and everything just fell right into place. So that's why I had to share my story, because it absolutely seems like a lot of the stuff that I wrote about can't possibly be true, but I assure you 100% of everything I said in my book is true. And I took my book from my journals that I kept because these things were so incredible were happening to me that I just would be writing them down. Like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. And my best friend would tell me, I hope you're writing this stuff down because maybe it'll make sense someday. And she was sure right. And then I had Sammy Hagar, this big rock star, telling me, you need to write this book. You need to tell your story. People need to hear this. So he was beyond my wildest dreams. So I want people to know that if something so extraordinary can happen so unexpectedly to someone like me, it can certainly happen to you too. Your dream can come true because it was always my dream to be a writer, and because of this experience, my dream came true. So,
that's amazing.
Although my book was published in 2011, so it'll be almost 5 years in November of 2016. So although I would like the book to reach more people than it has, the blessing that it has brought into my life and the people such as yourself and Jeremy and so many other people, hopefully there's a lot of you out there listening. I am so blessed and so grateful to have had all these experiences that I can never say that it was a waste of time or that it is sad that my book, the warehouse is saying we need these out of here for the faster selling titles. But I totally have faith that if there's more to come, and I know there is, that it will. And sometimes when things seem like it's a sad thing or a negative thing, it's really a blessing in disguise. So I'm holding on to that. So maybe because of this, it'll have forced me to get off my butt and get out there and really do something besides writing my book to help people, to help these women who are abused and needing some encouragement. So, you just don't know. So maybe this was a blessing that this happened so that now I'm forced to really take action. And I've been planning on it all this time. Actually spoke to one of the Infinite Possibilities people in San Antonio when I was there, and I have to give a shout out to Norberto Perez because he is an incredible man, and he started, Mike Dooley actually gave him his first opportunity to teach Infinite Possibilities in the prison systems down in Florida.
Wow.
And so I actually spoke to Norberto this time and told him I really wanted to help women and how do I get started. And so we are going to be in touch more, and he and I talked about ways. So maybe this was just the kick in the butt I needed to, actually get going with that faster.
Yeah. I mean, it's you've had an amazing journey, and I believe this Infinite Possibilities program is only the beginning of great things to come, and you're able to help so many people on so many different levels. Not only the people, in the prisons, but, people that have been abused, people that have been beaten down. All I can say from my experience is that you really have to do the work on yourself and be honest and dig, this really delves into the things that we need to work on. As long as we're brave enough to work on them. There's a saying, the path to elimination is really dancing with your own demons.
Right.
And it's true.
Yeah, and embracing them. And the first step to doing that, though, is acknowledging them. And like we talked about before, not denying your feelings or suppressing them. And that is easier said than done.
Oh, yeah. If anything that I've learned, relationships, not only with other people, but especially with yourself, communication is the key. Yeah. That's it's very important. It looks like it's time for another song. I'm going to play I've Got the Power. I'm going to dedicate that to you and everybody else listening out there. This is called I've Got the Power, and it's by Fireflight. And I'm going to dedicate that to Pat and everybody listening out there. And we'll be back in a few minutes. That song really gets you up and moving, doesn't it?
That's a great song.
Thanks. Yeah, I love it. Really motivates you.
Yeah, and we need so much of that nowadays. There's so much negativity out there, and all these shootings, and so much fear. No wonder a lot of us are living in fear of stuff, even in our own lives, because it's just coming at us from a lot of different angles. And I'm not going to get into talking about politics, but that song was really great because it's about empowering yourself and realizing. I just want to add that we are so much more than our physical bodies, that when we realize that our minds and our spirits are eternal and unlimited, then we can start seeing boundaries and barriers dropping, boundaries between people and races and all kinds of other things that and even in our own minds, the things that hold us back, our fears, and that those are walls that we build up. And when we start seeing that there's so much more to life than what we see with our eyes, that we're more than physical beings, wow, the opportunities are endless, the infinite possibilities.
Yeah, it's amazing. The world could be a much nicer, calmer place if people just took stock of, take a good look at themselves and remove all these negative beliefs.
Well, I think a lot of our problems, they start with us, and so the problems in the world where there's so much misunderstanding and prejudice, and unacceptance of people who are different or whatever. I'm just saying that I think that a lot of the problems really start with us, and if we start looking at ourselves, like Michael Jackson said with his song, I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Exactly.
That's where we have to start, and if we have to start with those baby steps, and we have to start by taking a different perspective on things and trying to see things as objectively as we can, and that's not always possible, but just this Infinite Possibilities program is great at helping you start to shift your beliefs, starting with yourself. If you believe you're inferior or you believe this or that about yourself, then that's what you project out into the world. So that song that you just played is great, because that's it. You have power inside of you. Woohoo!
Yeah.
You have it inside of you.
Yeah. And I think Infinite Possibilities is a great way to do that.
Yes. It's not, I won't say it's the only way. I think there are other ways as well, and I think there are a lot of really great other programs out there as well. I think whatever speaks to you is what you should do, because everybody doesn't relate the same to things, which is why different people teach things in a different way. You can give people the same curriculum, and they're going to present it a whole different way, and they're going to present it based on their own experiences and their own beliefs as well. So empower yourself, take that first step, realize that you are enough, you're great, you're loved, you are perfect just the way you are already, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be in life, or you wouldn't be here listening to this conversation, or you wouldn't be here asking the questions that you're asking. That's a sign that you're on the right road, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and you're going to be growing from here.
Right. You just have to do the work, Yeah. Yeah. I think once we realize that we all are little sparks from the divine, from God, whether you call him, Allah or God or any other name, it's all the same. We're all bits and pieces of him, her, it, whatever you want to call God, or consciousness, And once we realize our divinity, then we can realize our infinite possibilities too. We shouldn't. Yeah, it's like limitations that we put on ourselves. Like when I was younger, I never thought I was good enough, and I sabotaged a lot of relationships and a lot of good opportunities that were presented to me. And it's it's through that I was, and especially through Infinite Possibilities, I learned that the fear was sabotaging me. And, my fear of change, not many people like change.
Big one. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like you said at the beginning of the program, we just get comfortable in our complacency, and we may not be happy, but we know what to expect, and changing things. Oh no! All of a sudden we're off the deep end, and like I use the analogy of the trapeze. Yikes! It's scary, but you can't change. You can't improve your life if you don't at least try. Taking that risk and taking that chance to make things better. I have an interesting thing happen recently that it's funny how we were really talking a lot about perspective here, and I'm not sure if I used this in my book or not, but I haven't read it in a while.
Yeah.
but it's like my husband will say, "Where's the peanut butter?" And I'll say, "Well, it's in the pantry and it's next to, it's on the bottom shelf or whatever." And he'll walk in there and he'll look and look and look and he won't even see it. And then I will go in there and say, "It's right here," and show it to him.
Yeah.
And now he has it. Now, he sees it where he didn't see it before, or that can happen with ourselves as well. All of a sudden we see things. We've been seeing something a certain way our whole lives, and then all of a sudden our perspective switches for some reason, and we see it differently. And that just happened to me recently, and I thought it was pretty fascinating because I read all of these posters that people put on Facebook and stuff, these great little inspirational posters, and a lot of times I think, well, I could have written that. And then one day, just recently, I thought, well, why don't I? Why didn't I? And I started thinking about it, and it's because I always felt like I didn't have anything interesting to say. I didn't have anything to say that anybody, that was new to anybody, that something different, and when I was working on my book, I had several really wonderful editors, and my one editor would say, I would write something and she'd write in the margin something like brilliant or something, and it would be some sentence that I thought, well, this is kind of dumb, everybody already knows this, and I would just put it down anyway, and apparently I just thought everybody knew it. So I think that was just kind of a fascinating revelation for me just recently, just to see that, oh, wow, I saw this entirely differently than I have all my life. And I'm not a spring chicken anymore, so I don't know what switched. Sometimes you can just read something and, like fireworks goes off in your brain and you say, yes, I get that. I get it now. And I guess that's kind of like what happened to me during Sammy's concert in 2003 when I had that experience. I think it was kind of like a very small seed of an explosion that was planted in me that day that just opened up so many things and got me to see things so much differently than I ever had before. So, so I just had to tell that whole story.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And, I'm going to play that song Dreams, and this is the song that you actually had the out-of-body experience with. And the words are so amazing. It says, grab that golden ring, straight to the, go to the sky. It's just, the sky's the limit, as long as you allow yourself to do anything, stop putting limitations on yourself.
Exactly. So, and you are good enough, I promise you. Everybody is. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I'm going to dedicate this to everybody, and especially Pat. She had that wonderful out-of-body experience that I'm so jealous of. It's like, where do you get your spirituality from? A rock concert. Well, that's cool. I mean, how many people could say that? I thought this is really awesome.
Unusual, maybe.
Yeah, but unusual in a great way, though.
Yeah.
And this is Dreams by Van Halen, which was at the time fronted by the Red Rocker himself, Sammy Hagar, and I'm going to play that right now. We'll be back in a few minutes. Grab that golden ring, everybody.
That's such a great song.
It sure is. I love it.
Yeah.
And what a cool song to have an out-of-body experience in. That's pretty cool. You can't get better than that.
No, and I had never heard that song before. And then, I don't know, a couple of months after we came home, I had bought the CD with that song on it, and my kids were like, well, we know that song. It's in the Power Rangers or something. I was like, what?
That's cool.
But yeah, it's such a great song, and yeah, thank you, Sammy, for writing such a wonderful song and for being such a wonderful person, and for everything you've done for me, because it's just incredible, and I am so blessed. I've said that before, but yeah, that just makes me feel so good, energized all over again. Come on, world, I'm ready to take it on.
That's right. Grab that golden ring.
You bet. You bet.
Yeah.
Sammy wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth either. His parents were pretty much dirt poor, and they moved around a lot, lived in, from what I understand, campsites. He was growing up, and and they didn't even really realize they were poor. And he just made up his mind one day that he was going to be a rock star, and he made it happen. So you hear that message a lot through his music. Same thing, don't give up on your dreams. So,
wow.
Yeah.
See, I never knew that about Sammy, and it's just amazing that he encourages people to live out their infinite possibilities.
Right.
And, not hold themselves back, Right. I think that's wonderful. To me, he's a musical shaman, and, after your cool experience, I'm going to talk about my experience. I was in a Kmart of all places, and I happened to hear Both Sides Now by Sammy Hagar. Now, I didn't have an out-of-body experience, but it was an aha moment. It's something I needed to hear right then and there. And, there's a line that says, you have to listen before you talk, and you got to crawl before you got to walk. If you want a little peace, sometimes you got to fight. You have to walk through the darkness to get to the light. And I was like, damn, I got to listen to the rest of the song. I ran underneath one of the big speakers. I probably look like an idiot. I'm carrying all these costumes I was thinking about wearing, and I'm running to the nearest speaker, and I'm like, oh, that song. I'm like, I have to hear it. And it's just exactly what I needed to hear right then and there. So that was, an awesome experience, of all places. You can get your aha moments anywhere. With you as a rock concert. With me, it was getting Halloween costumes at a Kmart. Not as cool as a rock concert, but that's okay. The message got to me anyway, and I was like, I have to acknowledge my dark side. It's not just white and black. It's about, both.
Right.
It's about both, and you got to walk through the moat to get to the castle. So, I think I'll play Both Sides Now by Sammy Hagar.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, the Lao Tzu said that long and short define each other. Opposites define each other, because if we didn't have opposites, how would we know? How would we be able to tell?
Yeah, that's true. You kind of have to experience.
And then if you think about the yin and the yang symbol, how they're constantly moving and blending into each other, and while they're doing that, they each have a little seed of the opposite within them as well. And that was exactly what I saw when I had my out-of-body experience, was how everything is connected and how there is no separation between anything. And when we start looking at life like that and other people like that, and we start, like I said before, realizing that we're so much more than our physical bodies, and we realize that we are really connected to those other people in other countries and other races and other religions and lack of religions, and everything is all connected, and it's all part of us. So why are we wasting energy, precious energy, hating that other part of us, because it's part of us? And why aren't we embracing that part of us? Just because, for some reason we've come up with this duality that it's, or the separateness, when it's really all one thing. We're really all one consciousness, which I believe all comes together, and in my mind that's my definition of God. It's one consciousness made up of all of these people and animals and universes and worlds and everything. It's all just one consciousness. And when we start looking at other people that way, I mean, even if you look at if you were in a spaceship looking out at the Earth through the window, you don't see any separation between states and countries and people. It's all one globe. And so I think that's a really great way to think of it. And if you look at it that way, and how we're all connected, and what we do to someone else, it affects us in the long run.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's like you said, we all come from the same consciousness, the same God. We are all one.
Yep.
When we start doing the work on ourselves and realize, okay, because, a lot of people are mirrors to us, and we may not realize it at the time.
Oh, you bet.
I wrote down a list of people in my life, family, friends, people I just happened to meet, and write down what they mirror back to me. And it's eerie because it's like, wow, that's so me. And it's stuff that, some things I want to conceal and some things I don't.
Right.
And once you become conscious of that, it really opens up your mind to, you're able to, realize what you're doing that you wish to change. And
right.
There's something I want to recommend to everybody. Greg Braden has a YouTube video. It's called The 7 Unseen Mirrors. And it's all about what people are reflecting, back to you, and it's about a little over 2 hours long, but let me tell you, I was glued to it because I really resonated with that. And, that's definitely doing mirror work helps too.
Yes. And that's one of the things I talk about in my Infinite Possibilities too, is how people are mirrors of each other. And when I had this experience through Sammy Hagar, one of the things that I really needed to investigate, and I did, was I hope I'm not just becoming infatuated with a famous celebrity. I told myself, I hope that that's not what this is about, because if it is, then my whole experience and everything really is not valid, because then I would be putting on the rose-colored glasses and whatnot. But after I did some research on that, I realized that was not the case at all. And I also realized that the things that we admire in celebrities are also the traits that we have in ourselves. So think about that person famous person, or not even a famous person, just someone that you really look up to and admire. What is it about that person? Sit down and take time to write it down even. What is it about that